thanks for the opportunity for Fuse, because at this pandemic, we are trying all the efforts to make it a lively and, a session for everyone. So without taking much time, I would also try to cover some of the examples of data science in pharma industry, not going much into the technical side, explaining what the technology does, how it has been, how the algorithms work, or how the process works. I'll give some examples of how it has been used in real world in the pharma industry, like how the collaboration between the technologies, giants, and the pharma industry has worked in. So without taking much time, a general disclaimer that whatever views or comments or opinions I am sharing, it's all related to me and nothing to do with my organization. So a general disclaimer. So today what we see is a short, brief intro of data science. I don't take much time there, and how the artificial intelligence and machine learning is impacting the pharma industry. What are the challenges we face at some instances, and some of the data sharing platform initiatives which has come up very recently. So we all know, we are in an industrial revolution 4.0, which is 4.0. So where it's been predominantly driven by data and technology, like Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, cloud computing, big data, everything. So that's what the Industrial Revolution 4.0 is. And it's completely driven by data. So when we say data is nothing but information, and for us, information is wealth. So we have the data spread across the globe in different formats, and we are getting this data from different sources. So gathering all this data into one data lake and extracting a meaningful information which will help the business is what we are doing with the help of data science and its tools associated. And this is no different in pharma industry also. Though we are nearing to involve data science in our research programs, but we are we are trying to take the advantage of the big data in the data science world. So what is data science and what we get out of data science? I don't want to cover a lot on data science because of late, this has been a hot topic in most of the forums like SCDM or Fuse or DIA. Everywhere we have the topics based on the data science. And a lot of people would have already had a complete information of what data science is. But in short, I will tell data science is all about using the data to solve the problems in simple. So what the problems could be? A problem could be a decision-making a problem, or a product recommendation, or predicting an outcome. So anything could be a problem. So using the data available and extracting the useful information out of it in solving the problems is what we are going to do with data science. So what happens in data science? We have different formats of structures called structured data, unstructured data, and semi-structured data. So we use certain scientific methods or algorithms or some processes to extract the information and get some meaningful, knowledgeable insights from the data available and create some visualizations. So this is what the data science is all about. So reading the data, gathering the data, understanding the data, collecting the data, and getting the information out of it. So that is what we do in data science. So in this topic, as I mentioned, I'll be trying to cover the impact of artificial intelligence and to some extent the machine learning in pharma. So how it has been utilized in the pharma industry. So we all know intelligence is more of a human thing. However, with the advent of computers and technologies, we were able to recreate this intelligence. So in short, what we say is we are creating applications which can do the human job much efficiently. But although we need humans to control these technologies. So I don't say humans will be evaded, but humans will be there to control all these technologies. And I would like to quote something which, Sarvesh has mentioned in a couple of forums, I do remember that we do create artificial products for those which we feel are precious. For example, be it artificial gold or artificial diamond, because those are all the precious metals what we have. Similarly, now it has become like, intelligence is also a precious thing, a wealthy thing. So we need to have artificial intelligence also. So that is what Sarvesh has quoted, and I hope Sarvesh will not put any copyright infringement on me for this. But that's what it is actually. So artificial intelligence in pharma refers to use of automated algorithms to perform tasks which were traditionally rely upon human things. So there were some tasks which were done by human things and with the human intelligence. So we are giving a automated algorithms or softwares or tools or technologies which can perform the same, which much more efficiency. That's what we are doing with the help of artificial intelligence in pharma industry. And there have been many studies done using the available data and technology to get meaningful insights in recent years. So the use of AI in pharma and biotech has redefined the scientists to develop new drugs, maybe tackle new diseases and much more. And also we know that the complexity and cost of clinical trials has increased dramatically. Despite many advancements in the digital world with the technology advancements, still the productivity has dropped. I think this is the time for us to move towards the smart way of working. So when we say smart way, how to adapt ourselves to the existing technology we have. I'll just quote a law which is in physics. I think many of us know called Moore's law. So Moore's law in physics states that the number of transistors on a chip, on an integrated chips, doubles every year or every 2 years. So that's what the Moore's law states. And to contrary to that, we have something called Eroom's law in drug discovery. I'm not sure how many of you know, but there's a law called Eroom's law in drug discovery, which is I would say the Moore's law has been spelled backwards deliberately. So M-O-O-R-E is the Moore's law. Here we call it E-R-O-O-M. So what this law states is that it is an observation made in the industry that the drug discovery is becoming slower and more expensive despite improvements in technology. So as per the law, the pharma productivity is coming down once in every 9 years. So that is a big challenge. So there is something which has been proven that the cost is becoming more and the output is becoming less. So what we expect in today's drug development process? So what we expect is a faster drug development process with higher cost reduction and strong quality outcomes. So time, cost, and quality is what we are expecting from today's drug development process or industries. So given the growth of AI in pharma industry, I think this is a time for us to look into some of the examples where we have seen the implementation of AI technology in some of the big pharmas. So if you see the first example I'll take is the Novartis Health for AI for Health. So Novartis is an organization which is embracing a lot with the advancements in the artificial intelligence technology, and they're doing it to create new and improved treatments to get people access to the new treatments quickly. So the example what I'll be quoting is Novartis AI-powered diagnostic tool, which they have created to aid in early detection of leprosy. So Novartis Foundation has been working around the world to eliminate leprosy, and they have taken a significant improvement in curing most of the peoples. However, we still see that there are around 2 to 3 million people affected with the disease, and Novartis Foundation is working hard to eliminate this disease. So what happened in January 29th of this year, January 2020, Microsoft Corporation has announced a 5-year program called AI for Health. So they have announced a program called AI for Health, which leverages on artificial intelligence technology to empower the researchers and organizers to address some of the world's toughest challenges. So Novartis Foundation has been partnered with Microsoft Health, Microsoft's AI for Health initiative, and they are developing a powerful artificial intelligence tool to detect leprosy in early stage. So what they are doing, they're embedding this technology in a mobile app. So and any person who can take the photo of the lesion, a skin lesion, predominantly leprosy is to do with the skin lesions. So the application will take the photo and it will send the image through a cloud to the doctors, who can understand the pattern and also can make sure whether this skin lesion will lead to leprosy or not. So by this, what happens, anyone who is having the skin lesion, an abnormal skin lesion, can take the photo and get it diagnosed in an early stage so that they don't need to suffer all the disease related outcomes. So that is what the artificial intelligence is helping Novartis Foundation. And Novartis, with the help of this technology, wants to eliminate the disease completely and make this disease a history. So that's what their aim is to, and they're preferring the technology for achieving this. So next we have is the pattern recognition artificial intelligence software, which has been developed by Bayer and Merck. So they have developed a software, and this has been granted by FDA also. So they have used the pattern recognition software to take some clinical decisions on the disease called chronic thromboembolic pulmonary hypertension. So this is a type of hypertension which happens in lungs. So usually hypertension, when we say it, is more related to cardiovascular, but here it is called pulmonary hypertension. So where people are affected a lot. And the symptoms of this condition is similar to asthma and COPD. So when the symptoms are very much similar, it will be challenging for the investigators to diagnose correctly and treat them. But with the help of this software, the radiologist can detect the patterns, and this artificial intelligence tool help in assessing the images of their cardiac function, their pulmonary vessels, and also it understands patients' past history and gives some insights to the radiologist on better understanding whether the condition is CTPH or something else. So by which they can easily recognize the condition and treat it. So this is what the Bayer and Merck has done in their field using the artificial intelligence. And next, what we see is Tencent, a technology company. So the Tencent has been partnered with a UK-based artificial intelligence company, another company called Medopad. So they have come up with a remote monitoring application for patients with Parkinson's disease. So again, this is a software which is enabled in the smartphones. So this app monitors the patient's opening and closing of the hands. So Parkinson's disease, like, they have to, a neuromotor disease. So by this application, the patients, how they open and close their hands is monitored in the phone. And this will determine the severity of their condition, which will be conveyed to the doctors. And this will also help in reducing the motor function test, which is a traditional motor function test, which takes around 30 minutes to complete. So by this app, they can be completed by 3 minutes. So what happens, by looking into the image or the video, the doctors can set new drug doses to the patients if it is going worse. And if the patient's condition is worsening, then the app automatically alert the doctors for a checkup. So this is the technology what they have used for the Parkinson's disease. And this technology also will reduce the patient's cost to traveling the clinic also. So that remotely they can monitor the patient's behavior using the technology. So next we have is the Helix, and another company, a startup company in Cambridge. So they are working on repurposing drugs for rare diseases. So as we know, rare diseases is becoming more and more common now, and there are around 400 million people affected with this disease, and close to 50% of this are children. And there are many rare diseases. It is approximated we have 7,000 rare diseases, and only 5% of them have treatment. So what Helix is doing is, it is using the artificial intelligence to understand the work or the research which has already been done, so to predict the treatment. So technology the Helix is using is very exciting because it is making the best use or best and efficient use of the research which has already been done. So what happens, like, they are not doing any new research, but they are understanding the outcomes of the earlier research and understanding the data so that they can model a new drug regime which can be able to cure the rare diseases. So with this outcome, what they say is, like, the treatment outcome or the prediction of the treatment can happen, or development of a new treatment regime can happen in a couple of years, as opposed to, like, which will take close to a decade for the rare diseases treatment. So next we'll see the casual machine learning and simulations from GNS Healthcare. So GNS Healthcare is another technology-driven company which has been collaborated with many sponsors. So they have been using a casual machine learning or simulations to help develop cancer therapies. So GNS technology has come up with their own platform, a simulation platform called REFS, which is nothing but reverse engineering and forward simulations. So with this technology, they are able to understand large and diverse patient data into computers and create simulations. So by using this multiple simulations, they're able to find new pathways and maybe new target medicines and markers to treat the patients. So next is another collaboration between Bayer and Exscientia. So Exscientia is again a technology company which has been partnered with many other sponsor companies, a UK-based artificial intelligence company. So again, this partnership also works to identify and optimize novel drugs for cardiovascular and oncology diseases. So this collaboration, the Bayer's data is read by Exscientia's AI platform. So Exscientia will read all the data available from the Bayer, and they will create some algorithms based on which they can find new treatments for the cardiovascular and oncology trials. The last example what I quote is of the AbbVie. So AbbVie has been working with another technology giant called AI Cure. So they are working to improve drug adherence. So the drug adherence is one of the challenging part in the clinical trials, where we may not get the exact information of the adherence. And the traditional methods of drug adherence, like, be it pill count or patient reported data, we are able to, and it's prone to tampering. So patients can tamper the data, and the adherence is around 70 to 80% of adherence is what we get from the traditional method. But AI Cure has come up with a recognition, image recognition platform algorithm. So as soon as the patient takes the drug, again, this is an app-based, mobile-based application. So as soon as the employee takes the medication, they'll take the video of the consumption, and this video or visual gives a visual confirmation that the right person took the right medication, and it also confirms that the tablet or the medication has been ingested correctly. So with this, they were able to demonstrate close to 90% of adherence in one of their trial which they conducted on schizophrenia subjects. So they asked the schizophrenia subjects to use the mobile app and monitor their consumption of the drug using the mobile app, by which they were able to demonstrate, or they were able to publish that 90% of adherence was achieved in this AI Cure's image recognition artificial intelligence tool. So these are some of the examples, I just wanted to show how the artificial intelligence or the data science or the technology is being used in real world to address some of the issues or some of the challenges what we have in the pharma world. So next, I'll say there are some challenges also associated to it. So when we say when we are going to adapt the technology, it's not a smooth sail. We cannot have a smooth sail we adapt everything and we get good results. But there are some challenges also associated to it. The first and foremost is the data. So the amount of data which we are going to use. So there's a huge amount of data which is coming from different sources, be it clinical trial data or research data, wearables, and EHR data. So we have different sources of data. So this heterogeneous type of data needs to be linked to a single data lake. So when we say single data lake, we need to have a lake where all the data, different formats of data comes and sits in, and this data lake will be used for querying or retrieving the correct information. So creation of data lake is one challenge because of the different sources from where the data is coming. So next is the adaptation. So when we say adaptation, I will say adapting to the problem solving approaches using the data. So there are there are many different problem solving approaches we have in data science. So which approach we should be using is one challenge which we need to overcome. Because if we use a different solving approach, then the outcome would definitely be different, by which we will not be able to achieve our outcomes. So next is the tools and technologies. So definitely, as we know, there are a lot of tools coming up, new tools coming up in this arena. So different tools are available. So choosing the right analytical tool and model to give us the best outcome is always a challenging, for which we need to understand the technology well, and then we need to get to the technology. So that really needs a lot of investment and time to understand the different technologies and which one to adapt. And next, definitely a data and privacy security, since we are going to share the data. So if it is we are going to collaborate with different technology giants, then definitely we'll be sharing the data with them. So what is the privacy and security we have with that is also a challenge there. And last but not least, definitely people. So people with right skill has to be employed to do the task. So that again will be a challenge, because these are all new technologies. So we may not get the correct employee pool for doing the right task. So checking or getting the right people to do the right job is one of the challenge what we have in the pharma industry. So we do have these challenges. So how to overcome these challenges? So when we say when we have challenges, there are ways to overcome these challenges also. See, pharma industry alone cannot get into all these investments into the technology, getting the people and doing things. But to overcome this, they need to partner with the technology giants, as Abhay said, the ecosystem, how we need to bring up the ecosystem wherein we can bridge the gap between the pharma industry and the technology industry. So that is the ecosystem what we need to bring in. And there are already many players in the league, we have Helix, we have GNS Healthcare, we have Numerate, Accenture, AIQ, Benevolent, and we have Amazon, Google, IBM Watson, Microsoft. So all these technology companies are also coming into this arena wherein the pharma industries can collaborate with them. So when we have all these challenges and the technology in place, so how to get the data? So because data is residing between the pharma industries in silos. So each one of them having their own repository of proprietary data. But what has happened recently is there has been a data sharing platforms which are getting evolved. So there are many data sharing platforms which has been made a reality by the pharma industries. Many industries are collaborating themselves to come up with data sharing platforms. So some of the examples are Melody, which is called machine learning ledger orchestration for drug discovery. So this Melody aims to leverage world's collection of small molecules and biochemical and cellular activities to enable predictive models. So there are different pharma industries who have been partnered with Melody, for example, Amgen, Astellas, AstraZeneca, Bayer. So many people are partners in the Melody initiative. The next we have is a Project DataSphere. Again, this is a common data sharing platform, and it is an open access platform wherein it is predominantly looking out to accelerate new cancer therapies. So this is especially for the oncology kind of work. So this collaboration is with pharma industries, academias, government and regulatory organizations. So they are trying to pull in all the historical research data of cancer, which will help the researchers to understand and come up with novel therapies. And definitely this also being assisted by or supported by technology, analytics technology such as SAS also. So some of the key players in DataSphere are again Amgen, Bayer, AstraZeneca, Janssen, Sanofi, Takeda, and there we have US FDA also a partner in Project DataSphere. So next is MLPDS, which is called as a Machine Learning for Pharmaceutical Drug Discovery and Synthesis Consortium. MLPDS is a part of Massachusetts Institute of Technology. So they have collaborated with the pharmaceutical and biotechnology industries along with their technology departments like chemical engineering, chemistry, and computer science. So they have come up with a data sharing platform where the data should be shared to understand and come up with outcomes. Again, we have a common players like Amgen, AstraZeneca, Bayer, Lilly, Novartis, Merck as a part of this data sharing platform. The last is AAIH, which stands for Alliance for Artificial Intelligence in Healthcare. Again, this is a global advocacy organization whose intent is to enable advancements of the artificial intelligence in healthcare. So this is specifically looking into the advancements of artificial intelligence and how it can be used in the healthcare industries. And we have some of the partners like, GE Healthcare, Helix, Janssen, Novo Nordisk, Numerate. A lot of players are also again taking part of this. So basically what we are looking is like, the use of artificial intelligence in pharma industry to solve or to save more lives than ever before. So that means like, we are trying to use the leverage on the technology to save lives than what we did before. So with this, I can conclude my session saying like, though we have a lot in this technology, but we have challenges in adapting to the artificial intelligence in our industry. And also a report says like, there are not many health organizations who are using the industry. And again, if we try to get into the industry now also, there are challenges that like, we don't have the proper IT infrastructure set because like, our IT infrastructure is not set with keeping the artificial intelligence or new technologies in mind. So we need to revamp our entire IT infrastructure if we need to incorporate this technology. And also like, recently it's been like, it's a kind of a new, it's seen as a new technology, relatively new technology for us, though it has been available for many times. So with this, I'll conclude my session, and I think I've taken a couple of minutes more than what was allocated to me. So if there are time to questions, I'll take up the questions. If not, I can answer in the Q&A box. Thanks.